Welcome to Bandit's Keep Actual Play. Well, we're back out to adventuring. We've got the hero and the Hobbit up, and we're going to do something a little more narrative in this one. In the past, I ran a adventure module. That kind of worked, but here we're going to use some oracles and stuff. You'll see. Should be really fun. But we're basically still using original Dungeons & Dragons. We're using Chainmail as our combat system, and we're going to use outdoor survival if we do any hex crawling. So let's see what happens. All right, so it's April 20th, and I've been away from adventuring for a while. All of my groups could potentially go out. That is, any of the mappers, I think most of them could go out. The rangers, the foxes, or our hero and halfling. All of those could potentially go out today. I don't think I want to run a mapper today, though, only because based on my video release schedule, the mapper is going to be the last thing you've seen, so I don't want to do so many mappers in a row. So we're going to eliminate that idea, but I'm going to roll randomly to see which group I use, because I honestly don't really know what I feel like doing. I think I'm less likely to want to do a hero and the halfling, because I haven't quite figured out what I want to do there. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to roll this as a 10-sided die that looks like a d20, and 1 through 4 is going to be the foxes, 5 through 8 is going to be the rangers, and 9 or 10 will be the hero and the halfling, and we'll just have to figure it out. 10. All right. So I guess we're going to figure it out. So just in case this is your first time here, this is one of my solo groups, the hero, Sidad, who started off as a mapper, and the Hobbit, Kuraman. And last time I decided to run them through effectively a first level module, but it was designed for 6 to 8 characters. So I thought a 4th level and a 1st level at the time, he's 2nd now, it would be a challenge for them. It really wasn't. My system, Unchained, which is based off Chainmail, makes fighters especially very powerful. So a hero is quite powerful. So I think for now, I'm not going to run a standard adventure because I'm not quite sure how to balance it. So what I will do, though, is I want to try one of two things. I either want to try using this, which is the Game Master's Apprentice deck. This is like one of these Oracle decks that can do all kinds of fun stuff, and in theory, you should be able to run solo with just this deck. The other thing I have, also a deck, is this side quest deck. Both of these can be found on Amazon or Drive-Thru. I can't remember, but I will put links in the description. So what we're going to do is, I don't know which one I want to use because I haven't really done this before like this. So again, I'm just going to make even odds, 1 through 3, 4 through 6. All right. Looks like we're giving the Game Master's Apprentice deck a shot. Let's see what we can figure out. All right, just to go over these really quickly, how we're going to do this. We basically got words up here. So this one is Judge, Hopeful, Harvest. And what you're supposed to do is lay down 3 cards. You take 1 from each. So this would be Judge, and then put down another card, take the middle one, then take the 3rd one. Then we can use a location and a catalyst to basically give us our start. So I'm going to lay down some cards, and we're going to get an idea. We're going to come up with an idea for a quest. And then we can continue to use the cards to use like names and things like that as we go. All right, so we're shuffling these up. Let me set my focus here so it doesn't go crazy. All right, so we're shuffling these up. And we're going to draw our first card. So I'm going to start with this. Okay, Fight. Curious. Murder. Oh, interesting. All right, so that's interesting. And now I'm going to draw a Catalyst. Hero Worship. Oh. And the location is a cafe. Huh. That's interesting. And I'm going to draw another card. I'm going to look at it. So they've got a Virtue and Vice down here. I'm going to see if one of these works. Virtue, Diligence, Vice, Pride. Okay, that could be something. So we've basically got Hero Worship, right, as a catalyst. And pride as, kind of our negative here. So somehow this has now triggered an event. Fight, Curious, Murder. So I should point out too that this is the generic deck. There is a fantasy deck. I don't have it here at my house. So I'm using the generic one, and we've got cafe, right? So cafe, of course, is probably tavern or inn or something like that in our world. And what we're going to do is that's where it takes place, right? This is where the adventure is starting, is in this cafe. And somehow there's going to be a fight that ends up in a murder. Or better, is going to be a fight that was caused because somebody believes that the person is a murderer. And The hero worshipping will come into it because clearly there's somebody that they looked up to. So we're going to start our scene in a tavern. Can't beat that, right? Where a NPC, well, I think my characters are likely to get involved if there's a murder going on. So I think they're going to come in shortly after. So let's set our scene at night. Our hero and the Hobbit have already drank some from the tavern. They've got some rooms upstairs, and a fight breaks out. They come down too late, of course, to find that effectively somebody has been killed. A character by the name of Wilbur, who is a well-known adventurer, and maybe they're a bit older now, was accused by Alex. These names are definitely not D&D-ish, but that's okay. Of murder. They get into a fight, and now we're going to figure out, is it likely that Alex... So let's do this. Wilbur is going to defend themselves because they're very prideful, right? Let's use this oracle, the Bones, which is from Tales of Argosa. Okay? So now we're talking about Wilbur and Alex. Does Alex kill Wilbur? We're going to roll this, and we're going to decide. Okay. We have 2 no's, and that's a definitive no. This would be a yes, and if this was a tie, it would break it. But since it's not a tie, this is disregarded. He does not kill Wilbur, and something good comes out of this. So I'm going to say that Wilbur doesn't kill Alex either, so they're both alive as we start this adventure. So we've got 2 characters. Wilbur, who is an older adventurer, retired, and Alex, who is a young upstart who believes that Wilbur is somehow involved in the murder of who? Who do we think they murdered? For this, I'm going to use another oracle. So many oracles today. Try to get these things to use, right? I have this one here, which is also from Tales of Argosa. These are the signs. And we're going to read the signs and see if we can figure out who may have been murdered and what the situation was. So the way this works is we draw 2 cards. I'm shuffling them off screen. We'll draw the first card. Serpent, swaying, poison, fear. Underworld, wailing, confined. Oh, arduous. Okay, this is actually nice. All right, so, haha. Based on this supposed murder did not just happen. Alex, being a young adventurer, has heard or read some notes or looked into this person who was killed, right, on an adventure. Let's say a relative, maybe their father. Let's see, was it? I'm just going to do a straight even odd, or 1, 2, 3, yes, 4 through 6, no. Was it their father that was killed? No. Okay, mother. Yes, okay. I probably should have done parent. That's fine. So their mother was also an adventurer. They adventured with Wilbur, maybe shortly after Alex was born, to get treasure, as adventurers do, and they died. And now Alex has pieced together some parts here that makes them think that Wilbur effectively murdered them because they left them to die in this dungeon. And now we've got this information. He believes that they might still be alive, but trapped in this dungeon. And it's guarded by a giant snake god, and that's why Wilbur fled. So he kind of admits now, even though he's very prideful, that, he ran. He took the money and he ran. He left his adventuring partner. He feels bad about it, but at this point, he vows that he will help Alex go back there. And of course, this is where our hero and our Hobbit are going to get involved. They are also going to join the party. So let's do a couple things here. we know that Wilbur was an adventurer, and maybe they just talked a lot. Maybe they, because think about it, in a small town, a second or even third level adventurer could be a big shot if they talked enough and brought back enough gold. So let's roll to see what level Wilbur is. I'm going to say they're 1 through 3rd. They might even just be a first level fighter. 2. I did roll to D3 there. So Wilbur is a 2nd level fighter. And Alex, we're going to say the 1st level. And we're going to make them both fighters just to keep things simple. I'm going to create these characters quickly as NPCs, and then we're going to figure out where this place is. We're going to travel to the den of the giant serpent god, and we're going to see if we can rescue Alex's mom, who we need a name for, Harriet. I think I need to use the fantasy deck next time to get some better names. Okay, so we're going to use the outdoor survival map, but I'm going to do something a little different than I normally do with the mapper. I'm going to roll, first of all, a d6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, to see what quadrant the lair of the serpent god is. 5. Okay, so it's going to be here somewhere. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just simply going to drop the die here, and wherever it lands, hopefully it stays in the same spot. That will be the spot. Okay, I'm just going to slide it over. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. It's kind of random, but that's how I'm going to do it. So this is where our serpent god lair is. And the next thing I'm going to do to keep it a little bit interesting is I'm going to roll. This could be very interesting. There's 9 of these houses. I'm going to roll a d10 to see where we're starting, what town we're starting in. 1. All right, so 1. Oh my God, right there. Okay, it's not very far away. Turns out this cavern of the serpent god is actually pretty close. So we're going to mount up. We are going to take horses because it always makes sense to take horses. And we're going to head out. We've got our party, which consists of our hero, the Sadid, the hero, and the Hobbit, of course. And then we got 2 NPCs with us, Wilbur and Alex. They're both fighters. They're both going to be dressed in chainmail armor. They're going to have swords, because that's the most common weapon you would think. And we'll give them light crossbows as well. We'll put them up on horses, and we're on our way. So there's 4 of us, so let's travel. So number 1, we're starting from the plains, and again, we're going to use outdoor survival combined with OD&D. So when we start in the clear, we roll a d6. On a 2, we should not be lost, but I will show you. Yep, all right, so here's our chart. In the clear, we're only lost on the roll of a 1. So we can actually travel 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 10 movement points today, so we can actually get there easily in 1 day. That was the shortest travel ever. So we are there. Now, we're going to camp out because we have to look for it. So I'm going to actually roll, I still am going to roll for an encounter. So we're in the woods now, so there's an encounter on a 5 or a 6. 5. So there is an encounter. What we need to do now is figure out what's here. So we look on woods. So this is happening like mid to end of day. That is an 8, I believe. Yep, that's an 8. Oh, fantastic. A dragon. Always nice. Okay, so let's go to the dragon table. Dragon type, and we're going to roll a d12. 2. Okay, there's a white dragon. Interesting. All right, we got a white dragon here. So let's go to Monsters and Treasure. Under Dragons. There'll be from 1 to 4 dragons. 1. Okay, that's not good for us. And there is a 60% chance that they're in their lair. So we're going to say red is first here on the percentile. Okay, there is a white dragon lair here. Okay, this is actually very interesting to us because we might want to come back to it. So I am going to actually make a note of that. Now, here's the other thing we're going to do because we're doing this more narratively, right? We're not just following the other thing. Let's use a little oracle here. We'll use the dice because I love the dice. Is the white dragon lair somehow connected to the serpent god? Because remember, it's been years now. So this could mean a number of things like it took over, like it's like on top of it, it's in front of it, it's just in the same area. So let's see, is the white dragon lair somehow connected. Okay. No, because that would supersede. No, and it's a good thing. Okay, so that means it's not near it at all. We get a good thing from that. We're going to say that what that means is that if we avoid the white dragon here, we're not going to have to contend with it coming in and out of the lair. And when you get a little sun, you're supposed to get something good. So we'll think about that for a second as I figure out the evasion, because that's the next step. We are going to try to evade the white dragon because, frankly, only the hero could actually fight the dragon, and they will not be able to beat a dragon. So we are running. Okay, so we are a party of 4 to 9. There's less than 20% of the possible number. 25% I should say, because there is 25%. I should say there's 25% or less, so that gives us a 30% chance to evade. We're in the woods, which gives us a bonus of 25%. So that gives us a 55% chance. The dragon, though, is, I think it's twice as fast as us. We're on light riding horses, so our speed is 24. A dragon, no, actually, a dragon flying speed is the same as us. So we're the same speed. So we have a 55% chance. But first, and all important, is either group surprised? We are surprised. So we actually cannot evade them. And at best, we can run. So what we're going to do here is a couple of things. So we're basically looking around for this serpent lair, and a white dragon approaches. We're surprised, so let's get a distance. 2. And it is in its lair. We'd rolled that, right? So we're only 50 yards away. So I think what's going to happen here is I think we stumbled into its lair, not thinking there'd be a dragon here. And basically it's in its lair. So we're surprised by it, but there are a couple factors we have to put in here. Number one, dragons have potential to be sleeping. So let's look for that first, because we might be surprised, but it might be sleeping. Okay. So actually there is a 60% chance that this white dragon is asleep. And if the dragon's asleep, we're going to figure something out here. So let's roll first. Red first. Okay, 39. It's actually asleep. So we stumble upon it, and it's sleeping. So because of that, it's not going to immediately attack us, obviously, because it's asleep. Can we stealth out of here is really the question. And I'm going to say at this point, based on what I described, we're probably on foot. We've already put our horses up, and we've kind of gone into like a cave system, thinking this might be where we're supposed to be. And we pop out, and we open up, and there's a white dragon there. So it's asleep. I'm going to basically just make this one of these things. There's a good chance that since we were surprised, that I'm going to say there's even odds here that we basically, oh, I probably shouldn't shuffle these. There's even odds that we wake it up. Okay? So what you do is I'm going to use this other deck now, and I'm going to draw a card. And we're going to look under even odds. Do we wake it up? Yes. Okay. It's not a yes exclamation point, which is good. Okay. So we wake it up, but it's not like an additionally bad thing. But remember, I also rolled the sun. So that means that I'm going to give this thing a slightly better reaction roll than normal. And why? Who knows? It just is what it is. Maybe it's in a good mood. Maybe it's slow. Let's give it a reaction roll and let's see what happens. Oh no, I actually know what I'm going to do. Scratch on the better reaction roll. I have a better idea. 4 is a bad reaction. Remember how I described this? We were going through a cave system and we stumbled into this dragon. We are basically standing in a hallway it can't get down, right? It flies out of the top. So that's our positive. So we've been surprised by the dragon, but it was sleeping. It spins around, we wake it up. So now it has a bad reaction. So here's the deal. Can we run down this cave, this tunnel, to avoid being basically killed by the dragon? This is going to be an initiative roll. Black dragon, white us. If we win initiative, we're basically good to go. If not, the dragon's going to get to blow its breath as we're running, and that's going to be bad. Simultaneous. Okay. Because of that, I'm going to switch to this oracle, because why not? Will the dragon get to shoot its breath at us? No. All right. We run and we feel the incredible cold of the dragon's breath blowing down the thing behind us. But we charge through the tunnel and back out. And because of that, and because I said it's not related to the Serpent's lair, we rush out. We know it's here, but we're able to just kind of, again, the dragon probably flies out a completely different area. We stay hidden in the tunnel. We're basically good to go. We evade the dragon for now. Whew, okay. But it's looking for us, which means that if we get a wandering monster check when we leave the Serpent's lair, I'm going to say it's going to be heavily leaning towards the fact it's this dragon. Whew, all right, so we discovered a white dragon's lair. That's pretty good, with only one white dragon. It's unfortunate, because a white dragon, if I was running regular D&D, it might actually be possible, since it was sleeping especially, that we could have got a hit on it and tried to kill it. But like I say, with my system, you can't kill a dragon at the levels we're at. It just is, it's not basically, it is 100% impossible. Let's figure out what to do now. Okay, so now we're in the right space. We know where the Serpent's lair is. The next day comes, so a day goes by, and we're going to find the Serpent's lair. So what I'm going to do here is, I'm going to say, since this fighter, actually what I was thinking was, I'll tell you what I'm thinking here. And we'll use some oracles for this. I didn't have a giant snake mini, and I saw this Medusa mini. So let's do a little oracle fun here. Is the snake god a Medusa? No, but something bad. Okay, interesting. That means, so I'm going to interpret something bad as it's going to be more powerful than I had planned. What I was thinking was it would be appropriate for the 3rd level of a dungeon, since he was 2nd level and had to run. So we're going to up that by 1 to 3 levels. 2. All right, so it's going to be, it's appropriate for the 5th level of a dungeon. Oof, okay, this is going to be tough, but we're going to do it because we're the hero and the halfling. This is the plan. I'm going to use Axbane's Deck of Many Dungeons. I've used this a few times before. We're going to map the dungeon out. When the player characters get to the final room of it, as based on the Axbane's rules, that will be where the Serpent God is. Otherwise, we're going to use the 5th level charts for the types of monsters that we might encounter otherwise. All right, so the way the Deck of Many Dungeons works is you take an ace card. So I'm going to shuffle those and pick one. That's going to be a starting room. Then each time you go into, the card ends basically, you add a new card. When you reach a point where there's nowhere else to go, basically every avenue ends in like a dead end like this one, you replace that last card with a king, which is your final quest goal. It could be the next level of the dungeon, which we'll do in some other cases, but in this one, this is where the Serpent God's going to be. And because we're going to treat this as a relatively small dungeon, and we'll go from there. Okay, so we're going to pick an ace, this one, and this is where we're coming in. Perfect. Put the rest of the aces over here. We don't need them. All right, so we enter in. Now I have my torches up. Right now, our hero is going to hold a torch and also have their mace in their other hand. The halfling is going to be armed and ready with their horsebow, because that's what the most effective with. And obviously they can draw their sword if they need to. Our 1st level fighter here, Alex, is going to be ready with his bow as well. And Wilbur in the back will also have their bow. Actually, Wilbur in the back will also have a torch, and that way we have more than one torch in the group. And this way as well, so he'll have his sword out. Obviously, we can switch weapons if we need to, but that's just kind of how we're going to start. All right, we'll just use this mini right here to represent the group, so we know where they are. I'm going to track the turns here, so obviously I'll be tracking with the torches too, but we also have to take breaks. And it will do normal wandering monster checks. But what I think I'll try to do, and I haven't done this in the past, is if there's traps and such on here, then we'll actually use them. I haven't done that in the past, and we'll see how we can make that work using the oracles. It might work out, might not. I'm not a huge trap person, to be honest. All right, so we're going to move up. 1, 2, 3. We can move 120 in a single turn because we have plate mail armor on, the slowest people. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll look both ways. So I'm going to allow, well, actually the torch would only go so far. So I'm actually going to go to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 will get us to there. 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're going to end the turn right there. Now, that's turn 1. At the end of the second turn, there could potentially be a wandering monster, but I roll it now because I want to be able to set it up. So on a 1 or a 2, there's a wandering monster. 3. Okay, so there will not be a wandering monster. And that's the end of turn 1. Probably should. You know what I'm going to do? I know. People always say you need to get a dice tower or something. I'm going to use this guy here for now. It's funny. You run out of space really quickly. This, by the way, what I'm talking about. You run out of space really quickly when you're doing this. So I'll try to roll here. See if that doesn't block it too much. No, it doesn't. Okay. All right. So no wandering monster. That ends that turn. We'll move up. That's way less than half our movement. I'm going to move up and listen at the door. So we have 1 demi-human who can hear on a 1 or a 2, and 1 human who can hear on the roll of a 1. Okay. Neither one hears anything if there happens to be anything in that room. Okay. So there is a monster here, and we are going to, this basically tells you what to, you know, maybe I'll use these. So we're saying this is a 5th level dungeon. So D6 plus, it says PC's level, but I'm going to treat it as level 5. So a D6 plus 5. So 10 thugs or gnolls per PC. 2 of them. 2 gnolls per PC. Okay, that makes sense. So I don't know what a thug, this is based on 5th edition. So I'm not sure the relative strength of a thug. So we're going to say that there's going to be 8 gnolls inside this room. So let's look up gnolls. And I'm only going to do this because I'm about to open the thing. So I want to check out the stats in the gnolls. Everything in here is probably going to be hostile. But, you know, not necessarily. We'll see. Okay, gnolls. Okay, gnolls are 2 hit die monsters. They fight as 2 heavy foot. I'm just looking to see if there's any special rules for them. I know bugbears are especially sneaky, but I think gnolls are just basically, yeah, they're just regular. All right. So we've got, what did I say, 8 gnolls in this room. We don't hear them. So we're going to try to open the door now. Now, up to 3 people can try to open the door, but they can't act the first round. So I think what I'm actually going to do is have these 2 try to open the door while the other 2 are ready, because, you know, and she's going to switch to her bow just in case. So 1 or 2, the door opens. Okay, they're unable to open the door, which basically means they make noise and the gnolls now know they're there. So the gnolls are going to prepare. So I wouldn't imagine that gnolls would have missile weapons. Let's just check the description in OD&D. A cross between gnomes and trolls with +2 morale. Otherwise, they're similar to hobgoblins. Okay, so hobgoblins. These monsters are large and fearless goblins. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what we're going to do here to see if they have a missile weapon is I'm going to actually refer to Chainmail. Chainmail here. And the way I do this is, I mean, I could obviously use the Oracle, but I look and I see if they have a missile range, right? So we got goblins, kobolds. Let's treat them like orcs. So orcs do have missile weapons. Okay, so there's a chance that these gnolls will have missile weapons. So let's use an oracle for that. Do the gnolls have missile weapons? Okay, so we've got a yes and a no, but since the no is on this die, that's the tiebreaker, so that means they do not have missile weapons. However, there's a skull here, which is something bad. So I'm going to say that's going to mean that they're going to automatically surprise the party. I'm not going to roll for surprise. I'm just going to treat that as an automatic surprise. And they're going to do that by busting the door open. So the party hits the door. They're unable to open it. The gnolls quickly run to the door, and they're going to try to open it. So 3 gnolls are going to try to push the door open and surprise the party. So if they can do this, the party's going to get pushed back basically in the hallway. Yeah, the gnolls slam the door open, and you know, the party's surprised, so they're going to get a round of attacks. Sadly, these 2 guys were in the front. So in a doorway, so first of all, the 3 that open the door can attack. There's 8 of them total. I probably should make a note of that. My little notebook up there. 3 of them open the door. Only 3 people can attack through a door. That's how I normally do it. So I'm going to allow 3 of them to attack. Each one attacks as 2 heavy foot. These guys defend as heavy foot. So let's take a quick look. Probably put this over here, actually. So if we look at our charts, again, a gnoll attacks as heavy foot. So we're going to go heavy foot versus heavy foot. Heavy foot versus heavy foot is 1 die per figure, right? And each one of these counts as 2. So there's going to be a total of 6 of them. So we're going to roll 6d6. Any 6s are hits. Then we'll determine who they hit. And it's going to be one of those 2 guys because they're up front. Oh, okay. 1 hit. So, do they hit Alex, who's only first level and will basically die if he gets hit? 1 through 3 is Alex. 4 through 6 is Wilbur. 1. Oh boy. All right. Alex goes down. Now, Alex, as I mentioned, is a fighter. Fighters are technically 1 plus 1 hit die. And that means that they get effectively a saving throw. If they roll a 6 on a d6 when they go down in the round, they are actually not down. No. All right. Alex drops. That's bad. Especially since we're here to recover his mom. Well, you know, maybe the heroes will be able to do something about that. So he's down, and that's the end of the first round. So, again, they've got them bottlenecked. They've got them bottlenecked in the door. I mean, the party could try to run or something, but they're not going to. They're going to try to hold their ground. So I know I said these guys switch their missile weapons, but they'll just switch back. You can do that at the beginning of the turn. And I think we're just going to engage in a melee because nobody's going to break off combat at this point. So all 3 of them can attack from the doorway. And what we're going to do is, and again, this is all simultaneous, so the other side will still get to go. They're actually going to move up, switching the, well, when you look at all 3 of them, armored foot, armored foot, armored foot, armored foot, heavy foot. So they'll defend as armored foot. So that's number 1. She has a mace, which is heavy foot. He has a sword, which is heavy foot. He has a sword, which is heavy foot. So they're all attacking as heavy foot. So again, we already looked. Heavy foot versus heavy foot is 1 die per figure. So now we look at how many figures they are. She's 4 figures. I'll do one person at a time, but in a group like this, you can do them all at once, and I'll show you how to do that. But let's just start here. She's 4, plus she has a magic mace. So she rolls 5 dice. Any 6s equal hits. Okay, she got 1 6. Okay. They need 2 hits to go down, so she does not kill 1 yet. Okay. Take a second to make some room for myself here. Now the halfling gets to go. They are 2 men plus 1. So they count as 2 men plus 1. So what that means is they rolled 2 dice, right? Because they're 2 men and 1 die per man. And they add 1 to one of the dice. 6s are hits, are kills. 5 plus 1 is 6. That's a total of 2 hits so far. So that's 1 gnoll is down. He's also a 2nd level fighter, so he's the same. 2 dice plus 1. He misses. All right, so 1 gnoll dies. Okay. That doesn't change their numbers. There's still basically 6 of them in the door. But now, 6 hit dice worth of guys. There's 3 of them in the door, I should say. Now they're attacking armored foot, though. Heavy versus armored, 1 die per 2. So basically, they're going to roll 3 dice now. 3 dice with 6s hitting. Okay, they got 1 hit. But again, because these are PCs, they need to be hit simultaneously. I'm counting him as a PC for this purposes. They need to be hit simultaneously, so that's not enough to kill anybody, so we just disregard that altogether. The gnolls do no damage. Coming back around, now I can show you we can do all this at once, right? Well, can we? Yeah. Here's our hero. Get some more dice. Here's our hero, right? 4 figures, plus 1 for the mace. Here's our halfling. Here's our NPC. So we can roll all these dice at once with any 6s being hits. Now remember, the black dice, 2 of the black dice can get... Actually, I shouldn't do that because that wouldn't be fair. I need another color for the dice. The reason I was about to do that and then I realized that wouldn't be fair because I can't give, you know, which 2 belong to which guy, right? So you want to make sure you know that. So I'm going to use this. Yeah. These 2 dice are going to be our NPC. And the 2 black dice are going to be the Hobbit. So I'll go through it one more time because I'm sure that was confusing. The hero gets 4 dice plus 1 for the magic mace. The NPC gets 2 dice. They can add 1 to one of these. The Hobbit gets 2 dice. They can add 1 to one of these. I roll all of these, and 6s are hits/kills. Okay. 5 plus 1 is 6. That's 1 hit. Only 1 hit this round. Okay. The gnolls, on the other hand, get to strike back. They're rolling 3 dice. And they get no hits. So again, back to the group. One. Okay, so that's 1 more gnoll goes down. So they've lost now 25%, so they don't have to make a morale check yet. The gnolls go again. Probably a bad maneuver for the gnolls to come into the doorway. They kind of bottleneck themselves. Okay, the gnolls get 1 hit, but again, they have to get 2 simultaneous to kill anyone. So, nothing. The party attacks back. 1, 2, 3. 3 hits. So that kills 1 more gnoll. So that's a little more than the third, so they have to make a morale check now. Plus 1 extra hit. Okay, so the way morale works is, again, we refer back to Chainmail. Gnolls are treated as hobgoblins, which are basically heavy foot. So we're going to go here, go heavy foot, 7 or better. So they've got to roll a 7 or better, and they get plus 2. Yeah, they make the morale. They're going to keep fighting. I don't think I actually rolled their attack that round, which I should have done before the morale. Nothing. Okay, back to the player characters. Attacking. 1, 2. That's it. 2 more. So that's another hobgoblin goes down. When they get down to 66%, so when there's only 3 of them left, then they will give up no matter what. Obviously, the player character can decide to run whenever they run. I'll make him make a morale check if we lose anybody else. Nope. That was the enemy player characters. 1 hit, 2 hits. Yep, that's it. That kills 1 more gnoll. And 1 is injured, so if I get 1 more 6 on the player character side, then basically the fight's over and the gnolls give up. Ooh, close. They don't get any bonus, thankfully. 1 more hit. This is why first level characters are so vulnerable, because multiple times we would have lost 1 character, but as soon as you get to second level, you become a lot more survivable. Okay. 1, 2. That kills another gnoll, leaving only 1 gnoll left who's injured. So I feel like gnolls aren't the kind of thing that are going to surrender. They will automatically lose this. So let's make a little bit of an oracle check. We'll use the Matt Jackson oracle. So I'm favoring the negative result. Will this gnoll give up and give up some information to the party, or will they just fight to the death? No, they won't give up. All right, so the next round happens and the players defeat the gnolls. Okay, the gnolls are down. I don't see any. Is that treasure? This is very skimpy, by the way. So what we need to decide is, it's skimpy meaning that it doesn't give out a lot of treasure in the in these cards, because again, they're made for 5th edition, where you get most of your experience points from fighting, not from treasure. So let's do this. Let's see if there's any treasure with these gnolls. What we'll do is we'll decide, are they in their lair? And if they're in their lair, there'll be some treasure. Otherwise, we'll say that they're just, maybe they were also exploring. Gnolls are in their lair 30% of the time. So we'll say there's a 30% chance that there's treasure. Red first. Nah. Okay, they had no treasure. All right, well, we don't find anything here. They must have been moved in relatively recently. So we explore the room. That takes a turn. There was no wandering monster. I'm going to say it takes another turn just to explore the room looking for treasure. So I'm going to roll 1 more time to see if... I haven't been moving my torches, but I don't need to with this, I guess. He's dead. They're not going to want to drag a dead body around with them. So I think what we're going to do... I think we're going to leave the dungeon, go back to where the horses are, and put the body out there. I don't know, though. Well, either way, there's an equal chance there'll be a wandering monster. So I think what we're going to do is do that. I don't think they want to leave the body in here. If you've been enjoying these actual plays, and I think you must if you've lasted this long, please do take a second to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share this with your friends, all that other good YouTube stuff. If you're interested in a Hex Crawler t-shirt like this one, there will be a link in the description so you can pick that up. And there'll also be a link down there to my Discord server if you want to join up over there and join the conversation. I'll talk to you soon.